Congratulations, you made it to week 16, the second round of the fantasy playoffs. Let's take a look at the players with the best and worst matchups for week 16, starting with quarterbacks. The elite matchups for week 16 for the quarterback position: Aiden O'Connell against the Jaguars, Cooper Rush against the Buccaneers. The good matchups are Dorian Thompson-Robinson versus the Bengals, Baker Mayfield against the Cowboys, Kyler Murray against the Panthers, Drew Lock against the Falcons. Obviously, we're not playing Aiden O'Connell outside of the deepest of leagues. And we're probably not playing Cooper Rush either, though he is a little interesting in deeper formats. They've let him throw in volume in a few of his starts, and the matchup against the Buccaneers is phenomenal. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, on the other hand, he is absolutely off the board, off the radar. He's a stay away. He's going to pull that entire offense down. R.I.P. Jerry Jeudy. R.I.P. David Njoku. But we are going to keep riding Baker Mayfield. Ride him. Great matchup. He's throwing the ball at a high level, throwing with confidence. He's got playmakers. Keep riding Baker Mayfield. And Kyler Murray, he remains a back-end QB1 for this week. The best matchups for running backs, the elite matchups, are James Conner against the Panthers, Ramondre Stevenson against the Bills, and Alexander Mattison against the Jaguars. The good matchups are Bijan Robinson against the Giants, Chuba Hubbard against the Cardinals, Jahmyr Gibbs, who has the Bears, and Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne, they get the Raiders. James Conner is the smash start of the week. He could absolutely finish as the RB1 overall against the Panthers. The Panthers are routinely torched by running backs, and James Conner is the focal point of the Cardinals offense right now. We can also play Ramondre Stevenson. I think he's going to be a top 24, top 25 running back against the Bills. And I would have wanted to start Sincere McCormick if he was healthy, but now it's going to be Alexander Mattison, who is more of a fringy play despite the matchup. Not really feeling great about plugging in Alexander Mattison, but if you need that type of a running back, you need a deep play, he does have a good matchup. Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Chuba Hubbard, they're all going to smash a week 16. They're going to get a ton of touches, both in the run game and as receivers. They're all top 7 plays this week at the running back position. For wide receivers, the elite matchups are Jackson Smith-Njigba and DK Metcalf against the Vikings, Malik Neighbors against the the Falcons, the Jacoby Myers against the Jaguars, Calvin Austin, or George Pickens, if George Pickens plays, against the Ravens. And then some other good matchups are CeeDee Lamb against the Buccaneers and Jerry Jeudy against the Bengals. Jackson Smith-Njigba, he is a league winner, but don't be surprised if we get a DK Metcalf blow-up game this week in the semifinals. Obviously, all of this is contingent on Geno Smith playing. If he doesn't play, if it's Sam Howell, I'm not feeling so great about it, but hopefully Geno Smith will be out there and we can take advantage of this matchup against the Vikings for both Metcalf and JSN. Malik Neighbors is going to continue to be a target hog. Start him as a volume-driven wide receiver 2. Great matchup this week for him. I love Jacoby Myers against the Jaguars, and it does sound like we're going to get Aiden O'Connell back at quarterback. Myers could crack the top 15 if that's the case. And if George Pickens sits again, I do like Calvin Austin as a sneaky sleeper. He didn't do anything against the Ravens in the first matchup, but he had a 23% target share in week 15, and he has shown he can pop off for a big play at any time. Deep, sneaky sleeper Calvin Austin. And of course, if George Pickens does end up playing, which I honestly don't expect is going to happen, but if he does, wheels all the way up. It's a fantastic matchup against the Ravens. CeeDee Lamb is an easy play for week 16. Volume plus matchup should equal a top 5 week for him. Jerry Jeudy. Oh, Jerry Jeudy. I hate the move to Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback. Jerry Jeudy has done so well with Jameis Winston, but the volume and the big plays are just going to be completely gone from that offense with DTR back there. Honestly, I don't think we can trust Jerry Jeudy as anything more than like a wide receiver 3 or a flex play, despite the great matchup against the Bengals. In case in point, when the Browns saw the Bengals earlier in the season, it was the Deshaun Watson injury game. Dorian Thompson-Robinson came in relief. He threw about 24, 25 passes in that game. Jerry Jeudy finished that game with 1 catch for 18 yards, despite Watson, DTR, and Jameis Winston at the end combining for 52 pass attempts in that game. Now, I know a lot has changed since then, but I don't trust it. On to tight end. The elite matchups for tight ends this week: Chigakonkwo against the Colts, David Njoku against the Bengals, Trey McBride against the Panthers, and then some other good matchups are Brenton Strange against the Raiders, Dalton Schultz against the Chiefs, Jake Ferguson gets the Buccaneers, and Brock Bowers gets the Jaguars. Chigakonkwo, he is a fun streamer in Week 16. He has 20 targets over the last 3 weeks, including 10 in Week 15. And the Colts have been an easy matchup for the tight end position. He's a sneaky play, even with Mason Rudolph. I don't think it really matters who's at quarterback in that offense. Whether it's Rudolph, whether it's Levis, it's going to be Rudolph. But we pretty much get essentially the same production from the other elements of the offense, no matter who's out there in that offense. David Njoku has a great matchup if he plays, but I have the same concerns with him as I do with Jerry Jeudy, though I am more likely to trust David Njoku than Jerry Jeudy in this game. Against the Bengals last time, David Njoku caught 10 of 14 targets, 76 yards, and a touchdown. He did score as the overall tight end 1 against the Bengals earlier this season. We'll see if he plays. We'll see what happens with DTR. I still think David Njoku is a top 10 tight end for Week 16. However, he probably would have been a top 5 guy, top even 3 or 4 guy if Jameis had been out there. And this is the week. This is the week that Trey McBride finally gets that elusive touchdown. I'm guaranteeing it. We're going to get Trey McBride in the end zone at least one time this week against the Panthers. And Brenton Strange is a fun streamer this week for the tight end position. He was the tight end 2 overall in Week 15. Mac Jones targeted him 12 times. Mac Jones has proved to be competent. He's proven to be competent. He's a turnover machine, but he gets the football to our fantasy assets, which I was very skeptical about when he was taking over for Trevor Lawrence, but he has proved that he can do it. Raiders are a top 5 easiest matchup for the tight end position. I really like Brenton Strange as a streamer this week if you need one. And if Aiden O'Connell is back at quarterback, Brock Bowers could carry you to a Week 16 win with his matchup against the Jaguars. We already know it. Smashing. Brock Bowers. Really hope we get Aiden O'Connell back for that one because Desmond Ridder is absolute garbage. Brock Bowers. We need Aiden O'Connell for Brock Bowers. If he gets him, wheels up. Worst matchups for Week 16. Reminder, just because a guy has a bad matchup doesn't mean we have to sit him or that he can't have a good game. Just remember that. Because the worst matchups to quarterbacks are Lamar Jackson against the Steelers, Jaden Daniels against the Eagles, Brock Purdy against the Dolphins, Jared Goff against the Bears, and Tua Tagovailoa against the 49ers. Nobody's sitting Lamar, but remember, when the Ravens played the Steelers in Week 11, both offenses struggled, and Lamar was the QB 24 on the week with just 15.9 fantasy points. Just be aware. You can't sit him. Just be aware. And when Jaden Daniels saw the Eagles in that same week, he was the QB 25. So both of these guys, hopefully they'll perform a lot better against these tough matchups the second time around. Worst matchups for running backs this week are Joe Mixon against the Chiefs, DeAndre Swift against the Lions, Chase Brown against the Browns, and Brian Robinson Jr. against the Eagles. I am terrified to play Joe Mixon this week between his injured ankle and the tough Chiefs run defense. It could be really tough for him to get much going this week going against Kansas City. I've got him ranked outside my top 15 running backs for Week 16. The Lions shut down DeAndre Swift on Thanksgiving. I expect they'll do it again in Week 16. And Brian Robinson was mostly held in check by the Eagles in that Week 11 matchup earlier in the year, but the volume should be there with Eckler out, and his ankle and hamstring injuries are healed up, which is a huge factor here for Brian Robinson. He's probably a low-end running back for Week 16, despite the tough matchup. Worst matchups are wide receivers: Tyreek Hill against the 49ers, Terry McLaurin against the Eagles, Michael Pittman and Josh Downs against the Titans, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams against the Bears. It's really hard to sit Tyreek Hill, knowing he can pop off at any time, but it's also hard to trust anyone in that offense right now. He's my wide receiver 17 for the week. Jalen Waddle being out, however, would certainly help things, as that would make for a much more consolidated situation in that offense. I think we could get that 10-plus target game for Tyreek Hill. That would make me feel a lot better. He would definitely move up my rankings if Jalen Waddle is going to be out. He sat out of practice again today with that knee injury. We'll see what happens with that. In Detroit, I'm starting Amon-Ra St. Brown no matter what. We're starting him no matter what. I think he can still have a big game against the Bears. The defense for the Lions is so bad that they're going to have to throw the ball a lot to score a lot of points. Amon-Ra is going to be fine. However, I want absolutely nothing to do with Jameson Williams this week. It's a tough matchup on the road, outdoors, on natural grass. This ain't the week. This ain't the week for Jameson Williams. Worst matchups for tight ends in Week 16 are Kyle Pitts against the Giants, Jonnu Smith against the 49ers, Cole Kmet against the Lions. We're probably not playing Kyle Pitts anyway, even with the quarterback change, but the Giants have been an absolutely brutal matchup for tight ends all season. I do think we can play Jonnu Smith, however, as a top 6 or 7 tight end this week, but I want absolutely nothing to do with Cole Kmet. He's my tight end 23.